How's it going, guys? Brett Medlock here today with Danny Thompson from the Nintendo Enthusiast website. Danny, how's it going?
It's going great, and it's going really good because of a game that I'm currently playing.
Now, okay, so which one do you have, Sword or Shield?
I have Sword.
I wanted to do a little video giving you basically an interview about what are your thoughts on this game, because you're reviewing it over on the Nintendo Enthusiast website, and I just got to know these things, all right? So are you ready to be interviewed about Pokemon?
Oh my goodness, yes.
First question, let's keep it simple. Do you like it?
Oh, I love Pokemon Sword and Shield. It is easily my favorite Pokemon game since I've played X and Y. In terms of me enjoying it, in terms of quality, I feel like this is such a minutely focused experience that I could equate it to like Pokemon Black, for instance. But it does things better in some ways than Black and not as good as some of the previous Pokemons.
Now, what's interesting about that is I keep seeing a lot of media saying how much they love this game, whereas the fandom over like on the Reddit and whatnot, it's super negative, and a lot of people are angry because of the missing features. So that's actually my next question. Despite the criticisms about the missing features, are you actually missing them as you're playing through the game?
No, I don't think I am at all. Like Pokemon Sword and Shield, I understand with this generation, Gen 8, that it's frustrating that some people who have just dedicated almost their entire lives, some of these people, to, in quotations, catching them all, and them not being able to bring what feels to them as a significant investment that's like linked to their childhood, them not being able to bring that to Pokemon is really kind of frustrating for them, because that's kind of just like one of their favorite hobbies is like playing Pokemon, and being not rewarded for that investment is surely frustrating. I can assume so, but that's probably less than 100,000 people, and these games sell millions. And so the choice to kind of make this a more focused, more accessible experience where I, for the first time since I have played Pokemon, I think I will try to catch them all because it seems like attainable.
They have the Pokemon Bank thing, so I figure all these Pokemon that we'll be catching in Pokemon Sword and Shield, sooner or later, they will bring back the National Dex, and you'll be able to transfer them all over with all the other Pokemon. They said they have plans to bring back the National Dex, just not right now.
So there's a section of the game that's basically the wilds, and it's that thing in the trailers that everyone's seeing where it kind of looks like Breath of the Wild and not more of a traditional Pokemon game. You have direct camera control. I'm loving it. I'm loving it so much, but there's an opportunity there, since it has a lot of multiplayer facets to it, there's an opportunity there for them to add Pokemon through that and kind of make this more of a living game. So I think we'll see more Pokemon come to it. I don't know if we'll see the entire National Dex, though.
Have you seen a lot of new or interesting Pokemon that is not in any of the marketing material?
So, weirdly, this is like the first time that I have ever played Pokemon and then like not known what the Pokemon are gonna be. And I was surprised a lot more, going, whoa, that's one I haven't seen before, like in any of the marketing. Like, I mean, we both write for a Nintendo site, so we have to see every single trailer, and it, like, all of that's there's a significant amount of like Pokemon that I just haven't seen in the marketing materials that are popping up in this. And I'm assuming that the legendaries that I have heard about are stuff that's completely absent from the marketing materials. So as we get later into the game, there will be more and more stuff.
It's really cool.
For sure, that we haven't seen.
It seems like they were way more secretive with this release, because I don't know, maybe it's because of the backlash and they thought maybe we shouldn't spill the beans on everything and then people will be surprised. I have no idea, but it's a smart move in my opinion.
Yeah.
How hard is the game? Is it more accessible? Does that mean it's easier? Because you mentioned that before, or does that just mean it's more streamlined overall?
That was the thing, is I started this game and I was very much like, okay, I'm going to be playing a Pokemon game. I don't need to grind. I was trying to handicap myself as much as possible. And sure enough, towards the beginning, it is a very easy experience. You have mandatory XP share, which is auto leveling everything up. And that makes things a whole lot easier. You kind of get every single different type of Pokemon from that wilds area if you spend enough time there. So you'll always have something that you can like combat and it being super effective. But I did get my ass kicked by the first gym boss. Like I got wiped on the floor. Yeah, it was not a fun time. And I was like really like, oh, So do I need to go back and like grind and like catch some more Pokemon, or do I need to? And I had to go back, and I did do that, and I came back, and eventually I was able to defeat it. But it was the first time in a long time that I had legitimately been challenged by a Pokemon game.
That's really good to hear.
In terms of streamlining, it's a lot more comfortable. Like, you don't have to teach your Pokemon TM so you can like fly around. Like, they'll just give you the ability for it. The tutorials have opportunities where it's like, hey, I already know how Pokemon centers work. It'll just shut them up, and they'll just let you do your thing because you know it by now. So
yeah,
big improvement over Sun and Moon.
Can you ride on Pokemon like you could in Let's Go?
No, I don't believe so. I don't think you can.
Oh man, because that'd be cool if you could like ride on like, I don't know, your Arcanine like out in the open world section.
That is one thing I really liked about Pokemon Let's Go. But yeah, unless it's something that gets added in later, you can't have your like companions by your side like in Let's Go. I think it's a feature that they want to keep with the identity of what that IP is.
Yeah. Now, before I get to the last question, I noticed a lot of like pop-in with the Pokemon and like the NPCs while you're like walking through the areas. Is that as jarring as it looked in the videos?
So the whole thing with it is that I have been playing on handheld, and I didn't notice it at all in terms of like an uncomfortable way. Like, they kind of organically pop up in a way that doesn't like when you're going through the big city and you see like a huge Pokemon in the background just like slowly just become minuscule into a huge Pokemon. It's a little jarring, but you don't notice in like the game can barely run on this thing sort of situation.
Yeah, because I noticed like while you're out in the wild area, if you're like running and a Pokemon pops up, it's not literally it's popping up, but it's doing it in like an animated way, so it's not as jarring as like just like clicking in an instant.
It's just like that. Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's smart of them.
They found a way around that to make it comfortable.
Yeah. So my last question, the stadium battles. Okay, so when the game was announced with that first trailer, I thought it looked so cool because you're finally getting that stadium experience in a mainline Pokemon game, just like the N64 titles, which I used to love as a kid.
Yeah.
So does it feel like that? Does it feel like something special whenever you're in the stadium fighting with your Pokemon?
It feels so electric.
The air is electric tonight.
It's the sort of thing where like they happen at the end of each gym. So like you do kind of these like mini game kind of gyms or whatever. You do some battles along the way, but when you fight against the trainer, it opens up and you're in this huge stadium and the music kicks in. Yeah, the crowd's cheering. The music just kicks in so well. And then like you throw your Pokemon out there, and then it's like a huge battlefield, and you're like, this is gonna be the wildest Pokemon battle like that I ever have in this franchise. And then you do a Dynamax move, and then just without even like having any slowdown, it does these like elaborate animations where your Pokeball just gets like 15 times bigger, and you toss it into the air, and the big Pokemon jumps out of it. It's super weird, but it is very hype. It is so hype.
So one thing I noticed is that some of the Pokemon look different when they turn big, but not all of them.
Yeah.
That kind of sucks. I wish they all looked a bit different.
It does. It also
like Fat Pikachu is amazing.
Oh yeah. Oh my goodness. It is interesting where they decided to pick and choose. I think they did it in the best way possible. But even like when I was doing it with Grookey, who looks fairly lame when he's like 80 feet tall, it still was very exciting. In
Evolution 1.
Yeah, it was really funny. It was really funny.
Yeah, that's cool. So can you always turn any Pokemon big?
Oh, so that is actually, you can only do it during the stadium battles or the raids in the wild. So they make it feel special. Which is what I really like. Like, you only do it in raids and only in gym battles. So if you avoid the raids, you're only technically doing it maybe like 10 to 12 times in the entire game.
Okay, so there's one final thing that you actually wanted to bring in, which was you love the soundtrack, right?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. That's been the consistent thing with this game that I feel like no other reviewers are talking about, is that I have been playing Sword and Shield, and every new area, every new town, every new route, every new trainer's theme that I hear has never not been the thing where I notice the music, which I rarely do in video games because it kind of is supposed to be this background thing.
Yeah.
But I not only notice it, I'm like, wow, that's a really good track. And there's one by Toby Fox.
Which is the guy behind, what did he do?
Undertale.
Undertale, yeah.
Undertale, yeah. The game is just very hype. That's the main takeaway from it.
So your closing thoughts that you pretty much love the game, despite some of its flaws, you don't really mind them as much as a lot of other people.
I think a lot of the flaws with this game that people are perceiving is that it is a lower amount of content and a game that doesn't look as good as, say, like Astral Chain or some of the other games that are on the Nintendo Switch. And I understand the latter, but I think the less content there is now, it kind of makes it a little bit more focused experience.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes less is more, but my only gripe with the game is I honestly do feel like it could look a little better than it does.
Oh, I completely agree. Yeah, I completely agree with that. You don't really notice it as you're playing as much as I thought I was going to, because really it just looks like a really good version of the 3DS games.
That's good to hear.
Especially on handheld.
Yeah, and that's pretty much how you have to go in with your expectations at this point.
Yes, yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on the channel, Danny.
Yeah.
You can be sure to check out his full review. That'll actually be on the channel probably in a few days from now, so that's exciting.
Yeah.
And also, you can go check it out on our Nintendo Enthusiast website, which you should all just be reading all the time. Just bookmark it, all right?
Just be reading it all the time.
All right, thanks a lot for watching, guys. This is Nintendo Enthusiast. I'll talk to you guys later.
See ya.